Hi and welcome to the Mirroring Soul. I'm Lila, and today I'm going to be sharing with you a yoga sequence designed for the new moon in Capricorn. Capricorn is an earth element and ruled by the planet Saturn. Saturn is a planet of structure and authority, and so this makes it a great time, especially coming to the end of 2022, getting ready for 2023 to observe our structures that we currently have in our life, maybe changing them if we need to meet our goals for 2023. With this yoga sequence, we're going to be working with element of being grounded in ourselves, from our feet to our bones, our knees, our hips, the spine. Again, those areas we're going to be working on, as well as our root chakra, that chakra that helps make us feel safe and secure in who we are. And so hopefully with this sequence you'll be feeling good in your body and who you are, and maybe with a little bit clearer of a vision of where you want to go in 2023. So for the practice, what you're going to want to have is your mat, your blocks, maybe a bolster, maybe a blanket just to help you feel more comfortable, and maybe a strap. If you have these things, go ahead and grab them, and whenever you're ready, I'll meet you on the mat. All right, if you're ready to begin, we're going to start in standing on the center of our mat with our feet hips distance apart. We're going to come into mountain pose. Just allow our shoulders to come up around our ears, roll back, opening up the shoulders with the palms facing forward. And here we're going to concentrate on really grounding ourselves through our feet, with the weight distributed evenly from the tips of the toes, sides of the feet, all the way to the heels. This is our foundation, our structure in our own body. And the more we can feel grounded in ourselves, in our home, we can go ahead and move through the rest of our life with that security in ourselves. So we're just going to go ahead and take a little visualization of how our body feels in our bones and our skin in this moment here as we breathe. You can start with your feet, bringing it all around through the ankles, the calves, the knees, the thighs, the hips, the abdomen, the rib cage, the lungs, the shoulders, the arms, the elbows, the wrists, fingers, neck, jaw, nose, eyes, ears, and top of the head. Hopefully you feel completely grounded in this moment. We're going to bring our feet close together as they're touching. Hands go over the head, interlace the fingers, and then rotate the wrists so that the palms are open up towards the ceiling. Take a full breath in, and then come onto our tippy toes, raising the heels. Heels are touching, really reaching up towards that ceiling, keeping our chin parallel with the ground. Full breath in and full breath out. And we'll slowly lower on down, releasing the fingers and bringing our feet back to that hip distance width apart. And we're going to go into forward bend. And you can take a full breath in, arms over, and then as you exhale, lower your upper body on down towards the mat, keeping your legs straight. To begin with, if you like, since this is just the beginning of our yoga sequence, you can go ahead and bend the knees just a little bit, hold on to the elbows, and tuck the chin towards the chest, allowing the back of your neck to release just a little bit more. Maybe sway from side to side, allowing that back and the hips and everything to just kind of melt over the top of those legs. And then you can place the hands on the mat, straighten the legs just a little bit, and slowly roll on up. And we're going to go into tree pose on the left. So completely feeling grounded in that right leg strongly. You can raise the heel of the left foot, rotate the left leg out, and you can just keep the toes balanced here, or if you like, you can bring the bottom of the left foot closer to the inside of the thigh, Hands can go to heart center. If you like, you can open up your arms towards the ceiling. Maybe close your eyes. And then we'll go ahead and release this tree pose on the left, and we'll repeat on the right. And go ahead, keep your toes just balanced on the floor if you like here with your hands at heart center. If you like, you can go ahead and bring that right thigh or right foot to the inside of the left leg. And you can bring your hands at heart center. If you like, you can just keep them down by your side, or again, options here to raise the arms up towards the sky. And then you can go ahead and release that leg back down, and we'll find our mountain pose once again. Finding our place here on our mat, grounded. And we'll bring them back together, coming back into palm. Hands go overhead, full breath in, interlace the fingers, rotate the palms so that the wrists of the palms are up towards the ceiling. We'll come onto our tippy toes, raising the heels up, keeping the chin parallel with the ground. Beautiful. And we'll come back down, lowering the heels, releasing the fingertips, widening our stance. We're going to go ahead into forward fold, full breath in, arms overhead. Exhale, lower the upper body down towards the mat. And tuck the chin, allowing the back of the neck to release. And again, if you want to, you can allow for a little bend here. And then we'll straighten the legs back. Slowly round on up. Shoulders rotate up and around and back. This time we're going to go into hand to big toe on the left. So again, grounding that right foot to the mat. We're going to bend this left leg and hold on to that big toe. Again, really structured and grounded here through our foundation parts. And then we'll go ahead and lengthen that left leg out in front of us. Really trying to keep a straight spine. If that is too much, you can just keep it here. You can hold on to the knee. And you can release. And we'll go ahead and do that on the right side. Hand to big toe. So again, really grounded in that left side. And we'll go ahead and bring that right knee up. And if you can, go ahead and hold on to that right big toe. And then fully extend that right leg all the way out. Beautiful. You can bend the leg and then slowly release that down to the mat. And coming into mountain pose. Feeling completely grounded, slowly on our way. And again, we'll come into palm tree, feet together, arms overhead, full breath in. Interlace the fingers, rotate the wrists, palms open to the ceiling. We're going to come onto our tippy toes, reach for the ceiling, chin stays parallel with the floor. And you can come on down. Release the arms, widen the stance just a little bit. Arms reach up overhead, full breath in. Exhale, forward bend. Now that we're warming up, maybe your palms reach the mat. Again, tucking that chin towards the chest, allowing the spine to fully decompress. And you can raise that left arm up towards the ceiling with a little spinal twist here. And exhale, bringing that arm back to the mat. And we'll rotate to the right. Left hand stays on the mat, right arm comes up towards the ceiling. And you can lower that right arm back to the mat. Tucking the chin, slowly rolling up. And we're gonna go into chair pose. So again, feet are hip distance apart. Make sure you feel nice and grounded there. And we'll bring the hips back, arms are gonna come up. Full breath in. Exhale and go ahead and lower those hips back. Arms towards the ceiling. And you can check in, see where your knees are, making sure they're not going too far forward over your feet or toes. You want those hips back. Beautiful, and we'll straighten those legs. Arms can relax down by the side. We'll rotate the shoulders up, back. And this time we're gonna do the chair pose with a little spinal twist on the left. Arms overhead, full breath in. Exhale, hips sink back, hands come to heart center. We're gonna twist towards the left. The right elbow can come to the outside of the left thigh. And we can look up towards the ceiling, over that left shoulder. Maybe we straighten the arms out, widening them. The left hand reaches towards the ceiling, right towards the ground. Beautiful. We'll come back to center, lowering that left arm, hands to heart center. Still in chair pose with our hands at heart center, and we'll twist over to the right. That left tricep comes to the outside of that right thigh. You can check with your knees, making sure one's not shooting over the other. Then you can open up the arms. Right arm towards the ceiling, left arm towards the floor. Beautiful, and you can close that back up with the hands at heart center. And we'll twist back to center in chair. Arm can go towards the ceiling. You can straighten those legs. Arms come down by the side. We're going to take a stand towards the back of the mat just a little bit. We're going to go into Warrior One to begin, taking the right leg and rotating it just a little bit out to the side, and then taking a big lunge forward with the left. And with this position, what feels comfortable for you, you want that knee over the left ankle, arms are going to come up. And again, see if that back foot feels comfortable. Our hips are in the same direction as that left leg going forward. And again, straighten that leg, rotate the left foot in, and align the back foot so that they're parallel to each other. So feet are wide and they're parallel to each other. Star pose, so arms are gonna go overhead. And then lower the arms so they're parallel with the ground. And we're gonna rotate the left foot in the same direction of the left, and keep our torso in the same direction. And we'll go ahead and lean into that left leg. If you need to take and widen that stance with that right foot, feel free. Check in with where that is, and you want to keep your torso over your hips, not leaning over. And you'll bring those arms back up as they were in the star. You'll look over that left arm. Beautiful. Straighten that left leg. Bring the left toes in just a little bit, and you'll actually externally rotate both of the legs just a little bit. We're going to go into goddess pose. Taking a full breath in, arms overhead, bending the elbows, the arms, and the knees. Beautiful. Straighten the legs, bring the feet back to parallel, arms overhead, full breath in. We're going to go into forward fold with wide legs. You can look in between your legs, back behind you. Arms may touch the mat. Maybe they hold on to your ankles. Finding a place that's comfortable for you here. And we'll slowly roll on up. And we'll go back into goddess, externally rotating those feet just a little bit. Bending the legs, arms go up. Full breath in, exhale into goddess. Beautiful. Straighten the arms, straighten the legs. And we'll go into warrior two on the right. So the right foot externally rotates. The left foot is facing the same direction as our hips. Again, we're gonna just bend into that right leg with that right knee over the ankles. Arms come out to the side. We're gonna look over that right hand. And then we can go ahead and straighten that leg. Going into star. We'll align the feet so that they're parallel to each other. Taking a full breath here. Arms are still parallel with the floor. And then we'll go into warrior one on the right. Rotating that right foot out. And then bringing that left foot in just a little bit. We're going to rotate our torso so that it's in line with that right leg. And then we'll bend into that right leg. Arms towards the ceiling. Beautiful, and you can straighten that leg up. And then release the hands. You can step into that direction. And we're gonna come back to our mat. Arms down by our side for a little bit. Full breath in, arms overhead. Beautiful, exhale. And we're gonna go into yogi squat. So if you wanna widen the feet and maybe externally rotate the legs just a little bit. Full breath in. Exhale and lower your whole body until you get pretty close to your mat here. The arms can come to the inside of the thighs. Hands can be at heart center. Feet are spaced in a position that feels comfortable with you. Toes are rotated slightly out. Spine is straight. We're not hunched over. Really try to keep that straight. And the amount of pressure that's on the feet, if you can try to adjust so that it is equal in, again, the inside of your foot, the toes, the heels, the outside of the foot. You can bring awareness to that area. From here, we're gonna go into frog pose. So if you have a blanket or extra pillows for your knees, you can use them. I have these little pads here. I'm just gonna set them over here while I get into position. We're going to allow our upper body to come forward. Hands can rest on the mat as we bring our knees back just a little bit and wider. The toes are gonna externally rotate and point out as well. So if you have a nice cushion mat, maybe you don't need these. But if you have sensitive knees, these do help quite a bit. And then the upper body, you're gonna get your elbows underneath the shoulders here. Hips can stay in line with the knees, not going back as we do in child's pose, but really keeping in line with the hips there. And palms can rest on the mat. keeping our spine in one line from the hips to the neck. We can keep our eye gaze to the space in between our hands on the mat. And then you can push yourself up, pressing your hands into the mat and slowly bringing your knees closer together. And off any cushions that you had, you can move those out of the way, and we're going to go into child's pose, bringing the knees close together, feet close together, allowing the hips to sink over them. Hands can walk out in front of you. Head can rest down on the mat. If you can, find a way to allow every muscle from your fingertips and your hands to your forearms, your shoulders, back of the neck, forehead, throat, chest, abdomen, low back, hips, calves, feet, everything. Just allow it to rest and melt completely into this moment. We can slowly come on up, rolling vertebrae by vertebrae, pushing our hands into the mat to help us if we need to. And we're going to come into pigeon pose on the left. So raising our upper body so that our shoulders are up over our wrists, hips are over the knees. We're going to bring that left knee just a little bit forward behind that left wrist, maybe a little bit outwards too, and we'll bring the left heel just behind the right wrist in front of that right knee, and we can straighten that right leg back behind us so that we can kind of come closer to the mat. If you need to have a block here underneath that left hip, you can use that as well to keep your hips forward in that alignment. If you don't need it, And then you can just kind of sink in. The position of where your ankle is, of that left one in front, is going to change how this feels, so you can play with that too. The right leg is just straight behind you. The top of the foot is resting on the mat or the floor. And then you can allow your hands to walk in front of you. You can cross the forearms over each other, rest your head on top of the palms, or completely come on down and rest one side of your face to the mat. Whichever feels better for you. This is your practice. We're going to slowly push ourselves up, bringing the hips back and up, removing that left leg out from under us, and we can circle the hips just a little bit. And then we'll go into pigeon on the right, bringing that right knee again behind and kind of to the outside of that right wrist, allowing the right ankle to come below that left hand and straightening that left leg all the way back and releasing the top of the foot to the floor. Again, if you need to, you can use a block under that hip. And if that helps, just keep the hips aligned forward. One side may feel different than the other, and that's completely normal. And again, depending on where this ankle is, it may make that hip feel a little different, so honor your body. If it doesn't feel comfortable, make any adjustments that you need to. You can lower your body on down if you like. Resting your arms on the your head on the forearms. We can go ahead and push ourselves back up. Coming out, or moving that right knee out from under us. Rotate the hips just a little bit in a circle in one direction, and then in the other direction. And then we can go ahead and find ourselves back in child's pose, bringing the knees and feet together, sinking our hips back over the feet, or widening the legs, depending on what feels comfortable for you, and walking the hands out forward. Allowing the arms to completely rest and head to rest on the mat. And we'll slowly press our hands into the mat, allowing yourself to come on up slowly, vertebrae by vertebrae. And then we'll bring our legs out from underneath us, bringing our feet forward and allowing the bottoms of the feet to come together. If you need to, you can grab at the blocks so that the outside of your legs can rest on top of them if that feels more comfortable here in bound angle. If you don't need the blocks, or you wish not to use them, and then we're going to start with just bringing our awareness to this position right now. Taking a full breath all the way in and all the way out, and as we exhale we can slowly allow our upper body to come forward. Maybe our elbows or forearms rest on top of our shins, or maybe they come underneath, maybe they go over or hold on to the feet. If it's comfortable, maybe you have a pillow that you can kind of rest on top of, or again, if you have those blocks and you want to use those just to bring the ground a little closer to you, you can. You can slowly roll on up, bringing the knees together with the assistance of your hands, and you can windshield wiper them one direction to the other. And we're going to straighten the legs out in front of us. And we're going to do a spinal twist, allowing our upper body to meet the back of the mat, or back with the mat. We're going to raise that left knee over the hip. And then when you're ready, you can go ahead and use the help of your right hand to bring that left leg over towards the right, really focusing on keeping that left shoulder down on the mat. You can extend that left arm out to the side, maybe look towards that left hand. And close your eyes if you like. Allow that left leg to come back up towards the ceiling, and then straighten the left leg all the way out to meet the right. And you can rock your hips just a little bit to get that to feeling back to center and even. And we're going to go ahead and do a spinal twist on the right. So we'll bring that right knee over the hip on the right side, and then with the left hand you can go ahead and bring it across the body. Maybe it meets the mat, maybe it doesn't. Maybe you use a block here. Just to make that a little more comfortable for your back to rest in this position, as we'll be here for a little bit. And you can go ahead and straighten that right arm out to the side. You can look over to that direction as well. And again, if you can scan your body and see if you notice there's any areas you can let go a little bit more. Maybe in the neck, the shoulders, arms, abdomen, hips, thighs, and toes. And you can bring that right knee back towards the ceiling and over that right hip, and then straighten that leg alongside the left and rock the hips back and forth. We can bring our knees towards our chest, wrapping the arms over the knees, tucking our chin towards our chest. Head maybe meets the knees. Taking a few full breaths here, and then exhaling, straightening the legs side by side, and maybe rolling the shoulders up, back and down, and rotating the palms towards the ceiling as we go into our last Shavasana. Maybe you add any blankets or pillows to make yourself more comfortable. Slowly wiggle your toes and your ankles and your fingers and your wrists. You can bring your knees to your chest. Maybe rock from side to side, massaging your low back a little bit, and then roll over onto your right side, the fetal position. You can use your hands to push yourself up. And come to the center of your mat in a seated position that feels comfortable for you. I hope you enjoyed this new moon yoga sequence. I hope you have a lovely